first think it's important to kind of talk to educate adults and parents about how they look at money, how they're trained to think about money, right? Because a lot of times the education starts from a miseducation that adults may have, right? So let's start there as far as on the just the mindset concepts that have to be corrected a lot of times before we actually go into the actual item.
Yeah, so let's. I think this is where we start. As I'm an educator by trade, I started out in education, but we know our first teacher is our families, our parents. We know that. That's who we spend a lot of time with. That's who brings us up. And the challenge in our communities, as everybody knows, is that when we don't know about money, we're not able to impart those lessons onto our young people, and that's where we have to start. We have to start breaking that cycle. So one thing, I'll jump into the PowerPoint so we could jump right into. So so let's start before we start talking about the parent piece. Let's just really, the stats are very clear in terms of why we need financial literacy in schools, and I'm going to get to the parent piece in a second. But we keep citing these stats over and over again. 48% of adults don't have an emergency fund. 61% of adults live paycheck to paycheck. We know about the college debt. And the number five of the point number five I want to create is that we know that financial literacy is the contributing factor of the wealth gap in America. So I share all of this to say, we've been really good at listening. And what I mean by that is that message around go to college and get a job. That's that message that I know our families told us when we were growing up. They told us, go to college, get that job. I'm pretty sure, Rashad, you heard that. I know you have issues with college education. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. But the key message was to go to college and get a job. We listen, but we're still broke. We're still broke. Kids are coming out of college with debt. Kids are coming out of college where their degrees don't pay them. But we listen to this message over and over again. So that doesn't work for us. So getting a good job doesn't equate to financial freedom. But we know that money is the common denominator of no matter what job you get. So whether you're a doctor, lawyer, whatever, we know that's the common denominator. So I think we need a new message, and it starts with the new message has to be financial freedom. So it's not about getting a job. It's about getting financially free. And to Rashad, to your point, that really starts at home with this idea of what we call a hidden curriculum. The hidden curriculum is what we talk about where there's information and skills that is learned, but not directly through teaching. So you may think, like, what is that? How do we learn something not by being directly taught? It's inherited from our parents. That's why when we say when you go into someone's refrigerator and you see the type of tomato paste, the ketchup they use, they're probably using the one that their parents use. Your detergent is probably the detergent that your parent used. The same thing with money habits. So this is the big right here. If our parents are our first teachers, we adopt their money mindsets, their behaviors, and also their financial traumas. The way we see the world about money and the value of money comes from our parents. So kids get a front row seat of what we think about money, how we use money, how we spend money every day in our household. And being an educator, I'm on the front line. The first time, and I tell people this all the time, the first time kids, especially Black and brown kids, learn about money is 12th grade. Mm-hmm. Where parents have to get transparent about how much they make for financial aid purposes, going to college purposes. And then young people start to see for the first time, whoa, my parent makes a lot of money or my parent doesn't make a lot of money. But these conversations can happen a lot earlier so that young people have a more realistic viewpoint on finances and about money. But again, we can only teach what we know. And we know that this hidden language of money is passed down from father to son, mothers to daughters, mothers to sons. And a lot of Black and brown people don't have that knowledge. So our young people is at a disadvantage. And it's like we say, it's much easier to build strong children than fix broken adults. But we hear all the time, let's fix your credit. Let's fix your finances. This word fix is so big in our space for Black and brown people. And we need to change that, and we need to build from the young. But first, we have to get our parents to understand that there's some things that they have to come to terms with, and they have to learn, and they have to sit back and watch and observe, because young people learn from them. So
Yeah.
the more you learn and the more you do and the more you educate yourself, just by being there, they're going to actually learn and get smarter about money.